Okay, hey, I'm here with Helena D. Orr. Tell us about yourself.
Hey, I am a writer and I'm a first time author. I've just completed my first book. I also write poetry, short stories, and I blog as well.
All right. Wow, what got you into writing?
I started writing when I was about 12 and I use it as an outlet just to get my feelings out, my thoughts out, and I didn't really care for the people I had to live with too much, so it was nice just to go into my own world.
Okay, what are some things you wrote at an early age?
I used to write lots of short stories, lots of poetry. In my mind, I was a really dope rapper, so I would write raps that nobody ever heard.
Okay, go ahead, freestyle. No. Okay, so what projects are you working on currently?
I finished my first book. It's a memoir called No Longer Sharecropping Shame. I also have some other works in the future, some poetry, some more stories, more memoirs, not on the exact same topic, but stemming from the first book.
Okay, let's go back to that part. That's an interesting title. Is it about agriculture, farming? What's it about?
No Longer Sharecropping Shame is about the generational pathologies or generational curses that occur when one generation of family doesn't deal with the trauma that they're faced with, and then that trauma in turn passes on to the next generation. And how, when the ancestors of my family who were sharecroppers, who sharecropped on the same plantations that they were once enslaved on, they didn't have a choice in their profession, they didn't have a choice in anything. And when you don't deal with the trauma that you're faced with, or you don't deal with those hardships you're faced with, when they're left unaddressed, you are passing those on to the next generation to inherit. So No Longer Sharecropping Shame is about how I am not going to, and the generations that follow me will now not have to deal with the shame and the trauma and hurt anymore, because we're gonna stop it here.
Right. So a lot of things at family, people do pass on things like wealth and wisdom. So in this book, you're passing on the wisdoms and some of the traumas that you probably went through. And it's more of a warning or educational. What's the book? Is it?
It's a little of both. It's a memoir, and it was used as just it became the direction kind of changed from the beginning, where it became more of a healing tool. It was a personal narrative, and by me sharing my story, I could feel myself healing from my story, and me being able to be open and be transparent, it's helped me. So I'm hoping that by me being so open, it'll help someone else also be open and maybe address some of the things that they're facing.
Great. So what are some other interests you have going on? What are some things? What else?
I read, I love to write. I also have a nonprofit. It's called Helen's Help Center, where we help communities with clothing, food. Eventually we'll have educational programs and things set up for the community to benefit from.
Oh, great. So you're just an all-around amazing person that not only writes but also helps the community around her.
Trying to be great.
Good, aren't we all? So tell me some things. Let's get like a couple of rapid fire questions, just quick questions so people can know more about you. Okay. Favorite color?
Yellow.
Why is that?
It's pretty.
Pretty. Okay. Favorite book?
It's a tie.
What's
It
that?
would be Asada by Asada Shakur and the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Good. Okay. Favorite author?
It's too many. I guess I'll go with the same two, Asada Shakur and Malcolm X.
Okay. All right. Last book you read?
It is Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. It's the book I'm reading now.
Okay. Poetry or short stories?
Both. I enjoy reading both poetry and short stories, and writing both poetry and short stories.
Favorite TV show?
Anything on OWN.
Okay. Favorite song?
Oh gosh. I don't think I have a favorite song. Anything by Bob Marley.
Okay. And favorite moment as an author?
Completing the book, not the initial completion, because then I think I was just more nervous. But as we're getting closer to it being released, now I'm excited and ready to see what the book can do in people's lives.
Thank you.
Thanks.